Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for being with us today. This is Tim Hart, branch manager of VanDyk Mortgage here in Fort Myers. Welcome to another episode of the Heartbeat for Realtors podcast. Got my boy, my buddy, longtime friend, class of 1994, Bishop Row Vikings, Rick Hedge with the Plumbers. Plumber Rick, how you doing, buddy?
Great. Glad to be here. It's my first podcast, and I'm happy to be here.
Well, you're looking good, man. And thank you, because I know you're at an event for your, 17 kids you got, a horse thing, right?
That's right. We're in sunny Southwest Kissimmee, Florida right now.
Oh, all right. Kissimmee. There you go. All right, Rick. So what we're going to be talking about today, this podcast is for realtors, and I've seen a lot of your videos you've been putting out about cast iron pipes. And so I figured we could talk a little bit about that. So before we get into that, though, the cast iron pipes, Plumber's Plumber, Rick Hedge, your family, how long you guys been in the plumbing business here in Southwest Florida? Give us a little bio.
My dad started in 1980. He moved here and started the company as a little one-man operation. And he's a chemical engineer, very smart guy. Came down here, wanted to spend more time with his family, so started this company. From 1980 until now, we've developed into about a 5 or 6 man operation. We specialize in cast iron pipes and cleaning them and fixing them. And we work primarily off the referrals of other plumbing companies. We're friends with them. My dad always taught me not to talk only positive things about your competition and try not to ever have any competition. So we pretty much built a good reputation amongst all the other plumbing contractors in the industry, let alone this area.
Yeah, well, that always means something when you get referrals from people in your industry, so you're doing something right. So, Rick, let's get into it, man. Cast iron pipes. So, if the realtors are out there watching this, let's guide them through. First off, like, what are some of the pitfalls of the cast iron pipes, and also touch on when they were, what to look for, the ages of the houses, right? So there's a certain age group that, like, in Southwest Florida where these cast iron pipes will be.
Yeah, we're only going to be talking about our little area here in Southwest Florida, because throughout the country and the United States, it changes and different materials are used in different applications. But to make a long story short, we've got cast iron pipes generally from the late 1950s up through early 70s. So anytime a customer calls me and says, I just bought a house and it was built in 1963 and it comes from a Cape Coral area code or 574 number or 542, it's the Cape Coral Yacht Club, the first part of Cape Coral that was developed. So I immediately know it's got cast iron. Same thing with all the rest of the little areas that we have in Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Naples, Punta Gorda, that were built in those time spans. They have cast iron drainage, and we're only talking about drainage here.
Cast iron drainage, gotcha. And so these houses built in that certain time frame, if these realtors are out showing houses or looking to list that house, what's the pitfalls of these cast iron pipes?
Well, what happens with the cast iron pipes over the years is they tend to break down, they crack. Back when they were first built, they were built to last forever, just like a lot of other things that we've seen in the past. But the cast iron pipes are not looking good right now. They look like a rough, old, rusted car, for example, that is just falling apart, and the rust is falling off the walls of the pipe. The bottom cracks out of it, or you'll run the way we know this is we use a camera. The camera is the tool. The camera is the thing that you stick down inside the pipes, and you can see it, and then you show the customer, this is what you got. So before customers sell a property or buy a property, we oftentimes are getting involved, and they say they want to take a look at this before or after, before they buy it. And sometimes it's never perfect looking, but sometimes it needs a lot of work, and the people realize it sometimes at not the right time, but it is how it works.
Yeah, well, and I think anyone that's out there in our business buying or selling real estate, like, you've got to know within this property And these agents know that there's things that could kill deals. There's things that you've got to be aware of, and the different pipes, and the roof and leaks and flooring, and all this stuff, the foundation. And so cast iron pipes is just something else for these realtors out there to be aware of and keep an eye out for. And so, in talking with you earlier, I think there's several the solutions can vary, right? House to house, property to property, and situations, correct? For like how to remedy the cast iron pipes.
Yes. So you find out you have a house in that age bracket. Then you say, okay, we need to take a video of this. Then you go out there and you video it. Based on what you see, then you determine the best solution to fix the problem. But you can imagine you've got an entire roadway map system in your house of cast iron drainage going up in the walls, in the floor, everywhere. And unless you're completely demolishing the house, it's not feasible to replace or repair every pipe in the house. So what we normally do is figure out the best solution to achieve what needs to be taken care of to have the property last as long as the customer, is trying to make it last. Sometimes these houses are on the water in Cape Coral, for example, or Fort Myers, and they're tear down houses, but they might be tear down houses in 5 or 10 years. So you say, okay, we want to do this to this level versus no, we just spent a couple $100,000 in this house and we want to do it perfect, the whole thing. So then we've got a much bigger job. So it all depends on the situation of the customer.
So, but in my mind, like when you say cast iron pipes and you got to replace them and all, like fix them, like I imagine you gutting the entire house and like digging up all the ground and the foundation, but it's not like that anymore, right?
Okay, so getting to the answer to your question, which was how do you deal with these cast irons? You've got the traditional method. So you've got old broken pipes in the floor, in the walls, wherever, and you want to fix them. You say, how do I fix them? Well, there's different technologies, just like the computers, the iPhones, everything, the way things are going, the technology is growing tremendously, and it's coming from other countries, and we're now bringing it over here. And now we're doing amazing things. But one of the most popular method right now is called relining, where basically you clean the cast iron pipe really, really good first. And when you clean it, a lot of people say hydrojet. That's kind of the old school talk. Most of the plumbers in this industry would be saying hydrojet, hydro scrub. I had XYZ plumber out here, they did that. I already had that done. Well, that's not what I'm talking. Now, when we talk about jetting a pipe, this is to clean a pipe, right? You've got, the way I like to describe this is you've got a stucco on a house and you want to peel the paint off. But what if you want to pull that stucco off, you're not going to get that off with a pressure washer. You're going to have to hammer and chisel it off. Well, in order to restore these pipes, that's basically what we're doing with new tools that are in the industry. We're putting them inside the pipe and knocking off all that stucco, which is really just cast iron buildup inside the walls of the pipe, basically rehoning them out to a round shape as good as you can. Now, underneath that, you're oftentimes going to have a crack in it. Like sometimes the crack is a huge crack. Other times it's just a little crack running through it. So then after that, we say, okay, now we're going to install a liner. What a liner is like a sock that you put on your foot. You mix a two-part of an epoxy together, and then you inflate that sock into the pipe. And when you do that, after the catalyst and the epoxy and all that mixes together and it kicks off a chemical reaction, then you're left with a new, restored, relined, like a slip and slide pipe within a customer's old pipe. So what that does is it seals out all the old rust, the cracks, the roots, and it gives them a new finish in the inside. Not perfect, but it's as close to perfect as you can get without tearing up your house. And that's what's very popular. There's a couple other methods now also, but that's the most popular right now.
Dude, that was like, that explanation was on point, man. That was
really good. I read that. Just
You
kidding.
read that. I doubt that, Rick Hedge. I doubt that.
I wrote that earlier.
So passionate about plumbing, man.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we know about the cast iron pipes and kind of the fix for them. You got any other advice out there for realtors that, I didn't want to get into polybutylene plumbing. I'm going to say that for another episode sometime. But do you have any other advice?
Well, yeah, here's some good advice is, like I was saying, I specialize in cast iron drainage. My thing is I'm the drain expert. We are drain experts. That's what we focus on. Customer calls me and says, I want an RO system, or, I want to fix my water quality. That's a water quality expert. Customer says, hey, I've got polybutylene pipes and I want to repipe my entire house. That's more of a repipe type plumber. In other words, you don't want to just call one plumber for all your needs. I would call the experts based on, unless it's a simple plumbing job, it's no problem. But when you get to the level, basically my company comes in when nobody else can do it. We're your last call. After you've called 5 different plumbers and spent $5,000, then one of the other plumbers says, you need to call Rick over here at the plumber's plumber. And that's when we come in. But it's nice when people get us before they already spent $5,000.
Right.
So in other words, get the guys that specialize first in what you're doing to save the money from the get-go. That's my advice. And the other thing is just pay attention to video inspections. Most inspectors right now, what do? It's a visual inspection of your 4 major components, right? Well, that's just a visual inspection. To me, when I go in a house built in 1960 that's been remodeled, it looks great. What about the pipes underneath it? You don't see those unless you put a camera in them. But now that we've talked and we told all the listeners out here, 1960s, red flag, pay attention. Early 70s, borderline. Late 50s, for sure. Beware, be careful. Put some thought into what's it going to take to remediate, restore these old drainage before it's too late.
What's an inspection cost?
Typically, an easy little inspection is $250
with the camera
on up. Yeah, on up. Yeah.
Okay.
So we can do a whole bunch and get real thorough, or just typically a customer says, I just want you to come over and look at it real quick, and then we just come over, drop it in there, and then we can put videos on flash drives. We can text videos. We stream them to our phone. The technology is ridiculous what you can do right now. And it's unbelievable. And it's moving very fast.
All right, Rick, you killed it, man. Hey, how do people get in touch with you, buddy?
Well, I've got an email. It's drainexpert, of course, @gmail.com. You can call me. My cell phone is 239-340-3840. If I don't answer, send me a text. Website's theplumbersplumber.com. That's
all right.
theplumbersplumber.com.
All right. You're one of my favorite. If you guys out there listening only knew how just crazy Rick is. Some of the
crazy about drains.
Dude, no,
unfortunately.
You are so passionate about plumbing, always have been, but like you are one of the most unique characters ever in my life, dude. So I've been friends with my wife for a long time too. So appreciate you, dude. Thank you. You guys need something from Rick, give him a shout here in Southwest Florida. He's the drain expert. He said it several times. He'll tell you all about it. So Rick, anything else? You good?
Tim is the best mortgage broker in the industry. Nobody gives Tim enough credit either. So, he's the best. Sometimes you got to pat yourself on the back, Tim. I think you should pat yourself on the back.
I'm doing it right now, Rick. I got
perfect.
Right now.
Perfect.
Thank buddy.
Thank you.
All right, you guys need something to give Rick a holler. Appreciate you listening. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. This is the first time you've heard it. Feel free to share it with a fellow realtor out there. Maybe this will save them, their seller or their buyer, some time and money. All right, you guys, thanks for listening. Take care. Thanks again, Rick. Have fun with your kids, man.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You too, buddy. See you.